It's a celebration of technology in the classroom. See all the action from the 2012 weLearn Technology Showcase and find out why technology isn't the main attraction. Plus,
and it's not just a day off from school.
Schools honor our nation's veterans with song and spirit, what the students are learning about those who serve, and another state championship.
So you just kind of just go for it, I guess.
Meet one of our area's most successful athletes. Hundreds of people fill the Commons at Skyview High School to see the latest in educational technology at the weLearn Technology Showcase 2012. Hello and welcome to In the Know. I am Chad Young. The third annual weLearn event was a chance for parents and community members to see how our kids are learning in modern classrooms. Nick Vole gives us a taste.
The third annual weLearn Technology Showcase transformed the Commons at Skyview High School. Students from all grade levels got a chance to show adults the cool technology they're using in class to improve their learning.
weLearn really is about showcasing the way in which we're leveraging technology to improve student learning outcomes.
The demonstrations included a wide variety. There was hardware and software, like language and math apps on iPads and iPods. There were robots and student-made video games, plus all of the engineering that goes into making them. There was media, including digital photography and video. The one thing all of the booths had in common is that they showed how modern technology helps students make connections.
This is about unleashing the power of technology to personalize learning for students, right? To engage them, to motivate them, and to personalize that experience in such a way that propels them towards post-secondary success.
One of the best examples came from Vancouver's newest school, iTech Preparatory. Students at iTech Prep use project-based learning, collaboration between each other to understand the topic.
It really helps students because instead of just learning and writing all the information, you really have an understanding because you have to take the information that you learn and put it into your own creative thinking and actually turn it into a real-life project.
We all have to take a part of this project and we all have to work together because not one person can't do all of what we have to do for this project alone. So we really have to collaborate and work on this project together.
And the teachers, they're just there if we need a little bit of guidance. They give us some questions and we go find it ourselves, and if we need assistance, then they give it to us.
Joining the general public at the event were teachers from across the district. They included training sessions so they could learn how to implement new technology into their own curriculum. But ultimately, the night was about students and their excitement to use new tools to learn.
When you ask kids what's transformative about having these digital learning tools in their hands, it's really about personalization. And that's really about empowering kids to be responsible for their own learning. And that is really the sweet spot.
For In the Know, I'm Nick Vole.
Thanks, Nick. Transforming the Commons at Skyview took a lot of cooperation and work. In this time-lapse video taken by VSAA student Cole Hansel, you can see how quickly IT and maintenance workers got it done. They had to wait until after the students finished their lunch period in the same space. As impressive as that transformation was, the students and technology on display were even more so. weLearn correspondent Mark Ray brings us reaction from the event.
Because parents and community members don't often get to see inside a classroom, an event like the weLearn Showcase is the best opportunity for them to know how classrooms have changed since they were kids. The crowd at the weLearn Technology Showcase 2012 was as diverse as the exhibits themselves. Parents, teachers, students, even employees from other school districts.
And it is, I think, always interesting and informative to see the kind of projects that Vancouver's taken on. They've been a leader in a lot of the reforms that have been going on in educational technology stuff lately.
From the people we spoke to, it seems like the investment in technology for education is an important one.
I think that, in the world that we live, it's very good to have them engaging It's almost like learning a second language, and they're learning it at such an early age that they can engage just as somebody would if they learned 2 languages from birth.
Engagement with technology was important to Madeline, who came out to scout out which high school she might want to attend.
I think it's really cool, like all these schools, you get to like interview them all without actually having to like walk everywhere, like to like the actual schools.
Of course, some of the more visual exhibits were the most popular, like the machine built by engineering students that shoots ping pong balls, or Skyhawk News, where 5th graders make their own TV show. But everyone seemed to agree the real stars of the event were the students who were sharing their exciting uses of technology in the classroom.
I'm very impressed. I really like the fact that I'm seeing kids using the technology and that I can ask a kid a question.
I thought it was fascinating. I thought that the kids were very engaged. I thought what they were doing was quite interesting. I was impressed with their degree of familiarity with the apps, the various apps they were using.
These last 2 folks got the idea behind the weLearn Technology Showcase. It's not about the gadgets, it's about getting kids excited about learning. For In the Know, I'm Mark Ray.
Thank you, Mark. There was so much happening at weLearn, we couldn't cram it into a couple of stories. So the VPS TV studio has produced a half-hour special broadcast on the event. Co-hosted by Nick Vole and myself and featuring Mark Ray and student reporter Jacob Asheris, the show gets up close and personal with a bunch of students and teachers as they demonstrate technology. The special is available on Comcast Channel 28 and also on the district's YouTube page. That's youtube.com/VanSDTV. Columbia River High School is celebrating not 1, but 2 state championships. The girls' soccer team wrapped up an outstanding year, winning the Class 3A state title in Puyallup. The Chieftains knocked out Mount Spokane High School 2-1, completing an undefeated season. The video you're seeing now is from a practice earlier this year. We will have a much bigger story on the championship in our next episode. River's other state champion is no stranger to being on the podium. Monica Bottleberg won her 2nd straight state championship in swimming. In the 200-meter final, Monica pulled away from her competition early to win by a large margin. This is the 2nd straight year she won this event, and she's only a junior.
All my hard work's starting to pay off, and it feels pretty good. It's fun to win for the school. I don't know. That's what I love about high school swimming. It's all about the team.
Monica finished a close 2nd in the 100-meter to one of her rivals. Despite the loss, her time qualified her for the Junior Nationals, which she will not be competing in. Her 200-meter time also earned her All-American consideration. Monica says she's already receiving letters from colleges, but still has a whole year to figure out where she wants to go. Voters in Vancouver will decide on 2 levies that affect Vancouver public schools. The VPS School Board has submitted 2 levies to voters for the February 12th election. The first is a replacement maintenance and operations levy. It's not a new tax. It replaces the current school levy that's set to expire next year. Vancouver voters have repeatedly approved M&O levies like this one for about 50 years. The M&O levy makes up 19% of the district's budget and pays for everyday expenses. The second levy up for voter approval is new. It's a technology levy and would pay for things like student computers and other equipment, and support for technology in the classroom. Both of these levies require more than 50% of the vote to pass. Stay tuned after this episode of In the Know to learn more about the 2 levies. That video presentation is also available on the district's YouTube channel, youtube.com/VanSDTV. Speaking of elections, most students at Skyview High School were too young to cast their vote for president this time around, but they still got a chance to make their voices heard. Paula Winter teaches government classes at Skyview, and she used the election as a springboard to teach students about civic involvement. On Election Day, students cast ballots for president. Like it was for most Americans, the vote was a culmination of a learning process about the candidates.
We've done a lot of discussion about, we actually did group presentations on the presidential candidates in Washington, so it kind of educated us on the different parties.
The opportunity to vote, even if it didn't count in the real election, was one the students relished.
Voting is incredibly important, and I think that, as a citizen, it's our right and our duty to do so, to make sure that what's happening in the government and what's happening around the world is up to us, the people.
Miss Winter had students in all of her classes vote, and in the end, just like in real life, President Obama won a second term in office. Election week was a busy time at our schools. Because Veterans Day fell on the Sunday after the election, students and staff honored our nation's vets a bit early. And as Helen Raptis shows us, behind the pageantry of the day is a real lesson for students.
At Thomas Jefferson Middle School, students and staff pulled out all the stops to commemorate Veterans Day.
Basically, we only have this one day to really honor them and say thanks to them, so we really do need to make it count.
In two huge assemblies, a crowd of parents, students, and community members watched a list of veterans with connections to the school. Student choir, band, and orchestra groups performed patriotic songs as a way to say thanks.
It makes me feel like better about my performance, like more confident in my singing, like I'm singing it for a cause, not just for myself.
That's part of the point of these Veterans Day celebrations, to get students to realize the sacrifices members of the armed forces make every day.
I think sometimes at our age, we take a lot of things for granted that most people don't have, and how if we didn't have these people, we kind of show that we need them.
That connection that they're able to make through the songs or through their history class or through literature that they're reading. And it's nice to see that come together today.
For Jefferson Principal Tom Adams, who comes from a military family, Veterans Day is always special.
It's emotional. You know, those feelings come back from my dad and my stepdad and my grandfather and uncle and, you know, everyone who served our country.
Principal Adams' sense of gratitude is spreading to his students.
It makes me feel glad, like happy that we can actually honor these people, and that someday maybe one of us can serve just as well as they did for our country.
For In the Know, I'm Helen Raptis.
At Columbia River High School, students learned about the sacrifices of our military from Army Major Joe Lontai. A group of students listened live in the school's black box theater, while video production students recorded it in its entirety. Later, the entire school watched the interview as part of its Veterans Day observance. You can watch it yourself on Comcast Channel 29. Check the schedule on our website, www.vansd.org, or online at youtube.com/vansdtv. The students who produced that video also put out a regular news show called CR News. Featured journalists cover the latest news and events from Columbia River. It's a show written, produced, and starring students. CR News is on Comcast Channel 28 and is also on our YouTube channel. Student athletes at Skyview High School will be working out in style thanks to a huge donation from community members. Local businesses donated $42,000 to revamp the weight room at Skyview. The project will improve the room itself and replace aging equipment. It's the first time the weight room has been improved since the school opened 15 years ago. Donors included Tom Cook, the owner of Hazeldale Taco Bell and Buffalo Wild Wings. Fred Meyer also donated. Prom is still several months away, but it's already on the mind of high school students. And you can help those prom dreams come true. For the third year, Hudson's Bay High School is hosting a prom dress drive. They're collecting dresses, shoes, and all the accessories that will make it possible for girls to go to the big dance, no matter their economic situation.
There's people who are poverty level, but they really want to go have fun. And parents feel bad because it's like, oh, our kids they can't go because of this. But when dresses and shoes are offered really low prices, then they can go have fun and they just feel special that night.
Senior Christina Chen started this drive as a sophomore, and she wants everyone to know it's not limited to the Hudson's Bay community. Students from across Vancouver can attend a special event in the spring to purchase dresses at a very low price. Drop off your donation at the front desk at Hudson's Bay. Students at Washington Elementary are getting into reading in a big way, thanks in part to a grant. Washington was given $5,000 by the Laura Bush Foundation to buy new books. Teacher librarian Lori McKinley used the opportunity to start up a new program called Fire Up with Reading. Students earn scales to cover up giant paper dragons based on the amount of time they read at home. The project is getting students excited about books.
As I started putting the actual scales up, kids were at recess and they'd come over and crowd around the windows and say, "There's mine, and look how many Hector's got." So that was really exciting to see.
Well, it's important to read a lot because you can learn new things each time you read a book, and you could and you can learn more about somebody and have fun reading it.
Lori was able to strike a deal with Barnes & Noble and stretch that $5,000 grant into $6,600 worth of books. Students and staff at Walnut Grove got a little silly to prove a point about something pretty serious: bullying. As part of a district-wide anti-bullying campaign, Walnut Grove held a big assembly to talk about it. The 5th graders surprised the rest of the students with a rehearsed song and dance, with lyrics that encouraged them to stick up for one another.
We did the dance so we could show all the other grades that it's not okay to bully and that we need to make sure that everyone knows it's not okay.
A group of teachers put on a funny skit about a bully who changes his ways. This event was part of a longer outreach mission to teach kids not only the effects of bullying, but how to stop it when they see it.
We've learned that it's really not okay to be a bully, and that if you do bully, there can be big consequences.
It's not okay to be bullying because you hurt other people.
This kind of anti-bullying effort is also taking place at other Vancouver public schools, although it may be tough to top the showmanship they pulled out at Walnut Grove. Students at Peter S. Ogden Elementary School get a chance to share their art and take part in a fun holiday tradition. Bess Colpron's 4th grade class at Ogden was selected to create a mural that will be on display at Portland International Raceway during its annual Winter Wonderland event. You may be familiar with it. Families drive around the racetrack and look at holiday displays. The theme is sharing and caring, and the students are trying their best to demonstrate that.
Who do you hope gets to see this?
My mom, my dad, and everyone. Like something that I want to share with the world.
And what was that thing?
My heart.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's a look at the finished product sent in by Miss Colpron. Her class is competing against other schools from the Portland metro area for a $1,000 prize. That just about does it for us. Remember that right after this show is done, you can learn more about the upcoming levy vote in Vancouver. That video is also available on our YouTube page. Thanks for watching In the Know. I'm Chad Young.